Hey guys, good morning. I just wanted to show you Vascuscreen in motion and give you some demonstration with someone who's going to be here soon. As you can see, the data actually starts and it just asks for the standard stuff, height, weight, calculates a BMI. From that, it asks for past medical history, very important to fill out. And there's actually a spot for a A1C and a lipid profile also to see what someone's latest LDL would be. In our cart, we have these Bluetooth blood pressure cuffs. So we're going to put one on each arm and one on each leg. And they communicate wirelessly with our system. That's going to help us get a good vascular evaluation of blood flow to the arms, to the legs, and to the toe. So this is going to help us with our toe brachial index, believe it or not. We'll wrap this around the toe, and this will really isolate the blood flow to the smaller vasculature within the toe. The other thing we're going to have is a pseudomotor conductive test to look at the C fibers and the microvascular blood flow once again within the foot. What we'll do is we'll put this pad on the bottom of the foot while you're laying down. We'll send a little current and we'll look at the impedance and the responsiveness through the electrical signal and how well your conductivity is to see if there's any type of autonomic neuropathy or if there's any type of microvascular injury or disease process that could inhibit or restrict the conduction back to the computer system. The other thing we're going to do, well, it looks like a blood pressure cuff measuring device, but all you're going to do is take this, blow into it when I tell you the machine is going to show us everything, and this is going to record a Valsalva. This is going to look for cardiac autonomic neuropathy or any sympathetic, parasympathetic dysfunction within the body system. The whole goal here with the Vascuscreen system is to go ahead and deep dive into the physiologic process of your vasculature, pretty much from the collarbone to the toe, and to see if there's any cardiac autonomic neuropathy. We have immediate results, so we're going to take a look at everything and we'll go through some of the data here. We have a lower extremity report, cardiac autonomic neuropathy report, pseudomotor report, a wellness report, endothelial function and blood pressure report, and then an overview. When we look at this first report, this is just looking at some of the standard blood pressure recordings, right? Right arm, left ankle, right ankle. We're also looking at the toe markers at the toe brachial index, looking at the photoplasmography and the flow to the hands and the feet. We are going to look at the cardiac autonomic testing also. Over here you can see the results that we have. It starts to look at the norepinephrine, epinephrine response to standing, the deep breathing, and the Valsalva. It looks at the baroreceptor response to the Valsalva maneuver. You can scroll down, and what we'll see here is an impression. So we see cardiac autonomic reflex testing detected one abnormal test. The CAN subcommittee of Toronto Consensus, it talks about how there is some diabetic guidelines and it warrants active surveillance. That's what it's indicating, that there was some abnormality. Nothing too extreme, but it did pick up some things that should be monitored. The other testing modalities that we've recorded was the pseudomotor. Let's take a look at that. With each and every test, it'll show you obviously the left foot and the right foot sweat response or the C fiber microvascular blood flow along with any types of possible microvascular neuropathy. And it says the impression, the pseudomotor test, which assesses the postganglionic, cholinergic, sympathetic, microvascular, and C fiber status, indicates that the pseudomotor function is in the normal range for this patient, and that's great news. The other one we can look at, before we get to wellness, we'll look at endothelial and blood pressure. We have an impression here. This is all the data and the statistics, looking at arterial stiffness, possible insulin resistance, upper extremity artery atherosclerotic risk, C-reactive protein possibilities as far as inflammatory markers. And here you can see, according to the guidelines, it says that it's looking at the endothelial testing, shows that all the markers are in the normal range. So that's a great result for this patient. And this is another quick run of all the tests, all of the tests in summary. We have an 80% score. Don't worry, you never see 100, but this just shows you everything of a lifestyle assessment, a vascular assessment, an autonomic assessment. Right? It's telling you it's incorporating the BMI, it's looking at the resting heart rate variability, the pulse ox, and it shows you in a color matrix exactly where the person is and what their score is. What I like here is it gives a general overview, talking about the peripheral artery disease risk from ankle and toe brachial index. Ongoing monitoring and symptoms and checkups are warranted. There's cardiac autonomic neuropathy risk from heart rate variability and the reflex test that we did, so we also want to go ahead and monitor that and give some things that could reduce some inflammation within the body system of the individual. Finally, we're going to look at one of the last reports, and that is the actual wellness report. This is one of my favorites and really pertains to what we're doing. It talks that there is some mildly reduced recovery, which indicates that this patient should probably do a little bit more exercise. We'll see exactly what that looks like in the next report, which is a great summary, and that is called the wellness plan over here. So once we get to the wellness plan, we get this color-coded output and printout showing you how to read your report, implement lifestyle changes, monitoring your progress, working with a clinician, a dietitian, a chiropractic, a primary care, to just make some lifestyle modifications, changes, incorporate things into your diet, your lifestyle, certain foods to avoid and limit, like sugars and obviously the simple carbohydrates, while encouraging the leafy green vegetables, the whole foods, plant-based type of diet, Mediterranean diet options out there. Once again, the wellness assessment and overviews insulin resistance, arterial stiffness, blood pressure, inflammation, oxygen saturation. It looks at your exercise tolerance, right, by doing those breathing exercises in the Valsalva. We look for the oxidative stress. We're taking into account one's BMI with their height and weight and looking at the sympathetic balance. But all in all, everything looks good on your wellness report. Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. This was an excellent adventure in looking at the vascular system within Sam and looking for any cardiac autonomic abnormalities, but everything looks good.